Whoever was paid to animate Stitch's drool, well, let's just say he earned that dough. So with a new live-action Lilo and Stitch movie, I thought it was about time to finally review the original. Like, why not? Well, it's very relevant, but maybe I could review more than just the first movie. I know there's a second movie that spawns into the TV series, so maybe I could review them too. What's that? There's a third movie that is called Lilo and Stitch 2, even though it's the third movie, but it's called 2 because it takes place before the series? Sure. Oh, huh? What's that? There's a fourth movie that then finishes the series? And an anime? And a Chinese cartoon, but it's mostly made by Americans, where in both he now has a new friend because Lilo has grown up and moved on, and so Stitch finds new friends? What am I gonna get myself into? Hey guys, Blazie here, and welcome to this little review of Lilo and Stitch, a movie made in 2002 by Dean DeBluis, who I'm probably mispronouncing that name, I'm so sorry, and Chris Sanders, who also voices Stitch in pretty much everything that's ever been created on Stitch, which is kinda cool. Even when he left Disney and started making movies at DreamWorks like How to Train a Dragon and recently The Wild Robot, he still voiced Stitch. Now currently as I'm filming this video, I'm unsure if I will review the other Stitch related stuff, because my god, it's just so much of it, and I find my brain just thinking about it, honestly. So let me know down in the comments below if you would like me to. Also, like and subscribe, thank you so much. Now, obviously, I'm a big fan of Stitch. I'm always wearing some kind of Stitch merch. I have my Stitch collection down here. I also own the giant Stitch Build-A-Bear. Still not as big as my Scooby-Doo plushie over here, that's for sure. So, I like Stitch, but to be honest, I haven't watched Lilo and Stitch in over a decade for sure. So maybe it's not as good as I remember it to be. I remember Lilo being kinda annoying, so maybe I won't actually like the movie. But let's get into this review and find out what I still think about Lilo and Stitch. The movie opens with a courtroom, because that's what kids love. I mean, I did watch a lot of Judge Judy back in the day, so yeah, okay, sure. But the alien designs are intriguing and kinda cool, and the culprit is the scientist Jumbo, who was able to create life, a new species, and we are introduced to 626.
I would never, ever make more than one.
It is the flawed product of a deranged mind.
With Jumbo explaining he has super strength, can see in the dark, highly intelligent, and so on. Of which the council are not too pleased with, including Captain Godtu.
So it is a monster.
Hey, just a little one.
It is an affront to nature. It must be destroyed.
But the Grand Council woman does want to give 626 a charge, but Stitch does a naughty swear.
Naughty!
Gotta love the robot throwing up all the nuts and bolts. So we take Jumbo and Stitch away, and Stitch gets put in a room where guns are locked into his DNA. So he uses that intelligence of his to escape. It's a quick fun little escape sequence where he steals a police cruiser and escapes to Earth. I do love the councilwoman reactions here to, haha, it's gotta land in water and so he won't survive. But nope, he lands on a tiny island.
No. Of course.
The councilwoman wants to gas the planet, but luckily Agent Pleakley, an expert on Earth, which is a protected planet because mosquitoes are a protected species, sure, convinces her not to gas the planet, but now they need a Stitch expert, aka Jumbo, to help out. Which we do get a small cameo of like a future character here in the cell. I also love in Jumbo's cell, it's just some questionable content. Hilarious. So it's up to Pleakley and Jumper to get Stitch. So now it opens up with a beautiful Hawaiian song with the title of the movie and the introduction to Lilo. So watching this movie, I have to say, I do like Lilo. She is a really good representation of a child who is just a little strange. But even then, she is going through a lot with her parents dead and living with her sister Nani, who is her sole carer. And like, she is seen barely holding things together, but is trying her best. They both are, and it really works for this film. So it's all kind of justified why she's acting this way, and so I don't hate her as much as I did as a kid. You know, when I was watching it as a kid, I didn't really understand the full situation, but now as an adult, I do. She's just a really well-written character that is like a good representation of a kid. If I do have any complaints, it's when Stitch comes into the picture. Lilo's weirdness isn't shown as much, and she kind of calms down a bit. But I guess that's kind of a point as well, is that now she's looking after someone like her sister does, so now she's kind of understanding how her sister feels. She is part of a dancing group, but is running late because she was feeding Pudge the fish.
Pudge controls the weather.
Essentially, it's showing she's different with her own anger issues, and when she tries to make friends, they quite obviously don't like her because she's different. We are then introduced to her sister Nani, who is, as I said, quite stressed with Lilo, which Nani is also a character that is written pretty well, being that mum figure, but most importantly, a sister, who is struggling to keep it together, but always puts her sister first over everything. Generally, these characters are well written. So today, Mr. Bubbles, the social worker, comes to see them, but unfortunately, everything is quite the mess, and Lilo ain't doing so great.
My friends need to be punished.
And then as Bubble closes the door, he definitely hears Lilo scream as a little chase scene happens, which very much does feel like a real child and a siblings kind of thing. After some screaming and anger, there's this nice calm moment in Lilo's room, showing that they are truly sisters who do love each other. It's just a stressful time for both of them. Also, you gotta love the photos on Lilo's room, and just like Nani's reaction to her taking more of these photos. I love her reaction to it. It's all to do with like tourism and her taking photos of tourists like tourists do to them. Then a star comes down and Lilo wishes upon a star, but it ain't no angel. I love the use of green smoke, much like Disney does with its villains. It's a nice touch. But as Stitch inspects the fog, he gets run over by several trucks and wakes up in a dog pound, where Lilo and Nani also just so happen to be, but also Jumbo and Pleaky hunting Stitch, who does come out for a second but quickly goes back in to hide. I love this scene where Stitch is like smacking his head against a brick so hard he's about to knock them out, which is a nice detail and to show how strong he is. I also love all the dogs afraid of Stitch, but also there's a turtle as well. So Stitch hides his alien sides and comes up to Lilo. Though Nani isn't a fan, she does agree in the end. Lilo names her Stitch, but Stitch basically just uses Lilo as a shield from Jumper. Like, damn, Stitch really is the villain. This is when Jumbo and Plicky decide to get disguises so they're hidden from humans. There's a scene of Stitch watching a real kaiju monster movie. Always weird to see like real movies and animated ones, but it never feels out of place, which is weird. I don't know. It's weird. There's a scene of Lilo trying to apologize to the girl she bit, and Stitch comes up and just steals her bike as he sees Jumbo Pleakley in disguise. So then he tries to escape to a city, as it's what he's kind of made for, to destroy, but there's nothing but ocean. And he has just like a mental breakdown, which I feel that.
Are you okay?
We then get a montage of basically Stitch accepting he's stuck there, with one scene showing Stitch ready to punch Nani at some point, which is hilarious. But also with Jumbo and Pleaky nearby, he keeps on pretending to be a friendly dog to, again, use Lilo as a shield. Which keep them at bay, but yeah, these also show Stitch's anger and just being a bad dog. We are then introduced to David, a fire dancer and just all-round cool dude.
Don't worry. She likes your butt and fancy hair. I know. I read her diary.
She thinks it's fancy?
Which is also where Nani works and is also friends with David, and he has a crush on her. Lilo draws a badness scale of Stitch, and then he almost gets captured by Jumper, but he manages to escape by almost biting Pleaky's head off.
Your head looks swollen.
Actually, she's just ugly.
Which shows their disguises do kinda work, but it leads to Nani being fired. Finally, Stitch is shown their home and instantly terrorizes the place. I love him turning into a ball like Samus and just rolling off. But here we are introduced to the saying in the movie that's become synonymous with Lilo and Stitch. Ohana.
Dad said Ohana means family. Ohana means family. Family means
Nobody gets left behind.
Or
or forgotten.
And so Nani reluctantly agrees to keep Stitch around. Stitch runs around causing a mess in Lilo's room, and one scene of him finding a photo under her bed, but we don't get to see the photo, is a nice touch. But finally she manages to calm him down after giving him coffee, because, you know, that's what he needs. And she does say he's always destructive, why not make something? So Stitch makes San Francisco, and then destroys it. Stitch hates the gays, apparently. Not according to this shirt, which is very, pansexual Stitch. Outside, we see Jumbo and Pleakley, with Pleakley liking the wig he wears, but then Jumbo also wants to wear it. 'Tis a bit gay. No wonder why Stitch avoids him then. Again, Stitch is currently the villain, so, you know, he's in the wrong. Which I haven't talked about the whole, thing of him dressing a drag, because it's really nothing. It's not brought up at all in the movie why he dresses that way. It's just a disguise. That's it. That's all it is. Yes, we got this scene of him liking the wig, but, that's in a lot of movies of a character who wears a wig and we're just like, oh, yeah, I like it. So, yeah, it not being in a new movie really is just stupid, because all they have to do is not bring it up. It's that simple. Just like this movie, it doesn't bring it up. It's that simple. And then the mosquitoes come down to Pleakley, making him so happy for a short time. And now this oddly sad moment where now Stitch has destroyed everything, which again, is his purpose. But now what? What does he do now? He goes through some books and comes across the ugly duckling.
That's the ugly duckling. See? He's sad because he's all alone and nobody wants him.
It's a quick scene, but you get it. You understand that he is lost. It's a simple but effective scene, but then it cuts to this scene. And then Bubble shows up again to check on things, and we get this incredible moment.
Because, you know, the hours are just not conducive to the challenges of raising a child.
Absolutely fantastic. It's a scene that absolutely catches you completely off guard, and it's just hilarious. He basically says to get things together, find some work, and make Stitch a model citizen. So a montage-like scene is next of Nani going around looking for work, while Lilo helps Stitch become a model citizen, just like Elvis. So gotta teach him how to dance. It doesn't go well though. So he plays the guitar next, which again, doesn't go well. Stitch then tries to romance an old girl. Should have been me. What? I'm a furry. You know this. Shut up. And last they try on the beach with Stitch going full Elvis while Nani tries to become a lifeguard, and almost does. But of course, it doesn't go well, with his anger issues taking over. So the day is ruined, and even Bubbles is just standing there. I have to admit, it is weird how often he is just there, but that's just me. David shows up and takes them all surfing to cheer them up. So this is a fun scene with some good water art and a Hawaiian song called Roller Coaster. It is quite good. Though Stitch will just sink if he goes into water because of how he's made, and it was explained earlier in the movie. So he more so just watches what is happening, seeing this happy family and feeling disconnected, but still wanting to be a part of it. You understand what he's going through without words needing to be said. It's a good little scene. Even Jumbo is confused by Stitch. But Stitch finally seems to be fitting in and enjoying himself, as he finally goes surfing, and it's a really wholesome scene. But then Jumbo suddenly grabs him, knocking them into water, and here I'll admit, it's so damn stupid. Stitch comes up struggling for air and grabs onto Lilo, and Nani just does a 180 and tries pulling him off, saying, "Get off her."
Stitch dragged her down!
Now, I have actually saved someone from drowning, and in the process was pushed and kicked down into water myself, and felt like I was going to drown. It wasn't fun, it was quite scary, as I'm trying to help him get out, but he's freaking out and grabbing me and trying to lift himself up while pushing myself down in the process. So I'm watching this scene and thinking, why are you getting so mad at Stitch for? He's literally drowning and trying to get some help, and suddenly you're thinking he's a monster trying to pull her down? What? This part just annoys me so much. I feel like all you had to do was not have her try to whip Stitch off Lilo. I think you should have just had Stitch try to come up and then accidentally drags her down. I think that's all you had to do. and not have Nani react in such a way. But mind you, it gets worse. Stitch does accidentally drag down Lilo while he's being dragged down by Jumper. Nani goes down and she just kicks Stitch away. Like, my god, Nani. Again, this scene just kind of pees me off because it's hugely clear he wasn't doing it on purpose. Like, she lives in a place surrounded by water. She's definitely seen someone struggling to swim before. Also, like, why would he do this at this point? Again, it just annoys me. I really hate conflict like this. That just doesn't work. Whatever. David goes down and saves him at least, and then there's just Bubbles just watching it happen. Psychopath behavior. Again, Bubbles just being there is dumb. I will say, and it's kind of like the weakest part of the movie to always have that conflict by just having him just there. I get that, like, it's part of his job to kind of keep an eye on them and such, but in this way, it doesn't work. He does say he's sorry, but he's going to take Lilo away, which is sad, but also fair. You tried to kill her friend. Again, it's fine. And then David makes it worse by saying they had a chat, but then Stitch came along. Wooed. So now the mood is all sad and depressing. There's this moment of Stitch coming up to Nani and sees a duck like in the book. And then Nani sings a little song to Lilo. It's a really bittersweet moment as she also tries, like, talking to her about her needing to leave, but never really gets it out. Stitch then looks under the pillow and sees the photo of Lilo's parents, which she explains they went out on a drive on a rainy day. Again, this is the sad moment of the movie, as she also mentions she hears Stitch cry at night, which is really sad. It does kind of hit you in the feels. So Stitch decides to leave, though he also takes the Ugly Duckling book along with him. I'm not going to lie here, hearing him say "lost" made me start to tear up.
Lost. Lost.
So this movie still hits me hard after all these years. I guess I have a heart and soul after all. Then we see the Grand Councilwoman fires both Pleakley and Jumper, so that gives Jumper the right to do things his way, while she tells Captain Godtu to head out and find Stitch. Stitch then wakes up the next day, and it's still sad as Jumper appears as Stitch explains he's waiting for family.
Waiting.
For what?
Family.
Again, it's really sad, maybe because I have weird family trauma and stuff like that, but I just kind of feel this, and like feeling lost is a huge kind of thing for me. Nani comforts Lilo as David shows up saying he might have found a job for her, so they run off while Lilo stays at home and gets a visit from Stitch running from Jumper. So we get the first kind of action scene with Lilo just kind of accepting what's happening and helping out Stitch while the house gets destroyed.
I'll make you taller and not so fluffy!
It's a pretty fun scene where they don't hold back on the jokes and the utter chaos of it all. Like, Stitch picking up Jumper and throwing him out the window is hilarious, and also just grabbing a car and throwing it around is also funny. It's a very fun sequence. Lilo calls up Bubbles to get help, then there's this fun scene of Jumper plugging up a gun Stitch was using, and it all ends with the house being blown up. But Nani did get the job, so away? But the aliens are gone as she returns home, and Bubbles is taking her away. But Lilo runs off and Stitch catches up and reveals his true form to her, and that he too is an alien. Godtu, however, captures them both, and Nani sees the two of them being taken away, but Stitch manages to get out in time. So now Nani is aware of what's kind of sort of happening. And we do get this great scene.
Talk! I know you can.
Okay.
I feel sorry for Stitch as he tries to communicate, but just keeps getting hit around as Jumper then appears, and they capture Stitch and call command. But Nani demands them to bring back Lilo, and at first they act dumb, until saying they can't help. But Stitch comes up to Nino and mentions Ohana, and with that little sweet little voice of his, it just hits.
Ohana means family. Family means nobody
gets left behind.
or forgotten.
He then says something to Jumper that completely changes his mind. Help you speech.
Hey, Gambuka Gabbly.
What? After all you put me through, you expect me to help you just like that? Just like that?
And so now they're the good guys, they go to rescue Lilo. Is it weird? Yeah, I think Jumba is just too intrigued in his experiment to just let him be captured, and that's kind of it. So, it's fine. So we get like a classic chase scene now with two spaceships, which is a fun scene. And then Stitch jumps out of the ship and tries to get Lilo out. It doesn't go well, and he ends up back on the ground, and even ends up with his old frog friend. Stitch then steals a Taker truck, drives into a volcano, and blasts his way back out to them. And we get the best use of Aloha here. Aloha! And Stitch saying he's cute and fluffy is also great as they have a little fight off.
Vile, you're foul! You're flawed!
Oh, so cute and fluffy!
So Stitch saves Lilo, captures Gontu, and they come splashing right down behind David, who just accepts what's going on. He's just that kind of chill.
Hey, Lilo!
Can you give us a ride to shore?
Sure, but I have to make 2 trips.
We all need a David in our life. So now the aliens are together, including the council, and Bubbles is also there randomly. They're going to take Stitch away, but the council woman calls Stitch 626, and he corrects her, which makes her start to question things. And she even lets Stitch say goodbye, which again is a very cute scene, especially with that voice of his, as she asks who they are.
This is my family. I found it all on my own. It's little and broken, but still good.
In the end, Bubbles reminds Lilo, didn't you buy him from the dog pound? Which luckily she just so happens to have the adoption papers on her, of course she does, and basically says you're stealing if you take him. So she smiles while also recognizing Bubbles as he mentions he worked in Roswell as a CIA agent and even saved the planet once by convincing aliens that mosquitoes were an endangered species, bringing that joke all the way around. So in the end, Stitch is left under the care of Lilo and Nani, and Bubbles says she'll come back now and then to check in on them. Much like how Bubbles, a social worker, does. But then also just leaves Pleakley and Jumba on the planet too. Like, I feel like that's against the laws I have mentioned several times, so the conclusion of the movie is everyone helping to repair the house and just working together. It's a couple of fun, cute scenes like Stitch becoming a superhero, Jumbo and Bleakley becoming the gay uncles. Bubbles is also just there, and Stitch joins in on the dance, bringing the movie all the way around, and it ends. Lilo and Stitch is a great Disney movie. It has beautiful watercolor scenery which really works well in this film. It also has great, memorable music, a great cast of characters and voice actors, and some great messages in there too. It's an all-round, wholesome family movie that says that families come in all shapes and sizes and scenarios and situations and isn't always so normal and can be what you make of it. I think this movie does a really good job of depicting a struggling family and does good with the alien stuff as well. I like everything with Stitch, of course, so I might be biased, but the emotions are really well done and are believable. I do think some of the gremlin energy that Lilo has in the beginning of the movie does disappear once Stitch becomes part of the family, but overall, this is a beautiful film in many, many ways. So, what is my rating? Well, duh, it's a 10 out of 10 foxes. That should be obvious. It's a great movie that's clearly full of heart and soul with lovable characters. So, again, I don't know at this point if I'll review the other movies. Maybe I will. Let me know down in the comments below. I would really appreciate that. If anything, maybe I'll do it slowly. Instead of doing it once a week, maybe once a month or something like that. I'll do it a lot more slowly. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know down in the comments below what I should review next and your thoughts on this movie. I have a Blue Sky all linked down below. I have a Coffee, I have a PayPal if you wish to support me all down below. Please do give this video a like and subscribe to my channel because I love you if you do. Hit that bell icon, and this fox says, be who you want to be. Alright guys, bye for now.